Did you say you're in the same Tim Anonymous?
Yeah, we have a meeting. All your friends have meetings where we go.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you have enough friends for a meeting.
You know how messed up that is? To think you guys really have a meeting about me?
You really do.
You just sit down. And... Wait, you want to push that door open so it sticks? You know what it is. No, you know what it just push it open. No, open it.
With the latch.
And then, no, push it so it sticks. It sticks open. There you go. You know what I'm talking about. So the audience is listening to me babble again. No different than a regular podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the Attitude for Gratitude podcast. Young man, right here. Nope, you're right here. Come on. You're good. Come on. 2520 North 2nd Street. That's where we have this podcast every week, down here at Will Work for Recovery. If you are struggling, please come on down. Please come check this place out. Please reach out. You see my number scrolling across the bottom. You're going to hear multiple people tonight talk about recovery and where they find it at, and it's for the taking. But serious, if you're out there struggling tonight, just reach out. Do what you can. You deserve your happiness, just like you're going to hear a bunch of us talk about tonight. We have a lot of things going on around here at Will Work for Recovery. A lot of events coming up. Come on down, check it out. I'm going to just put a banner up across the bottom that should tell you the main meeting stuff. And come down here, check it out. Every day of the week, we've got stuff popping off down here. People finding recovery, happiness, joy, free, all that good stuff. American Pie Pizza's in the house. They will be bringing some pizza. Anytime you want to come down, check it out. Come on down here, 2520 North 2nd Street. 8 o'clock, we do this podcast. 7 o'clock, they got the big meeting. Every night of the week, we got a big meeting at 7 o'clock. So come check it out. I'm not going to get much further into that type of advertising stuff, but share the show. It's interactive. So if you have questions, go to the comment section and post up your questions. If you have something that you want us to talk about, something you see us just scroll by a topic or what have you, and you still want us to elaborate, put those questions up, and I'll get to them. We appreciate the support. We appreciate everyone checking in. Let's get this thing going. All right, young man, who are you? Get right up on that mic.
I'm Michael. I'm an addict.
Welcome, Michael. Young man, who are you?
I'm Daryl. I'm an addict.
Daryl, welcome to the show.
Jake, addict alcoholic.
Long time no see, Jake. Michael, how'd you hear about this place?
Through one of my housemates at my sober house.
Have you been here many a times?
This is my second Friday, my third time.
Nice. What's your thoughts of this joint?
I love it. That's why I'm back.
All right, so here's a question I asked a lot of people. Daryl, how would you explain this place to someone? They came to you and like, Daryl, I heard about this place called Will Work for Recovery. What's it like? How would you break it down?
I would have to say that, first of all, it's not what you're going to expect with any meeting. It's really, really like personal. It's like, people are friends and they, you can tell that they're a little bit closer. It's not so, how can I say, just like if you went to, other meetings are good, but it's not personal enough. It doesn't feel like, wow, this is family. This is, these are people I want to see next week. I can't wait to, for the week to go by and you actually look, oh, it's Wednesday. Okay, coming up 2 more days and
Nice.
We can go to Will Work for Recovery. So that's how I feel about it.
So I saw you back there in the corner in the cut. Like you had a spot over right kind of when you walked in. And tonight's one of the nights where we have bigger meetings. I know there's 100+ people in here. Like, is it overwhelming with that many people in a place like this? Or how do you feel with bigger meetings like this?
If you have anxiety about large crowds, at first you might be a little bit nervous, but once you sit down and you see other people and you feel the vibe, you won't be intimidated. I really highly doubt if you're going to be like, oh my God, I got to hurry up and get out of here. I'm there's no air. I got to move around.
Yep. It's not, yeah, I like to touch on that too because a lot of people are like, oh, I wasn't expecting it to be that busy. And then they come check it out and realize it ain't that bad. It's welcoming. And I think you touched on that right away, like this community, like you felt welcome. How'd you hear about this place?
I also was brought here by one of the house managers. We had to have a meeting, and we used to go to another one over on the south side of Minneapolis, and then we come to this one on Fridays. and everybody was like voting, hey, let's go to Will Work for Recovery instead. Let's make that our mandatory one.
Cool.
And now that I'm a house manager myself, I have to bring my guys to a NA or AA meeting once a week.
Okay.
And this is their once a week mandatory, and they love it. You know,
Nice.
I mean, you can call it mandatory, but I'm pretty sure even if it wasn't mandatory at this point in the game, that they would all be like, yeah, I'm riding with you. I'm going.
And that's the goal too, like to find somewhere that I want to go to. You know what I mean? And I get that from everyone who does come here. It's like the majority of people after treatment or after sober living, like I'm one of those people. I used to come here when I was in treatment, like my outpatient treatment. I saw, matter of fact, it was this flyer right here. I saw this hanging on the wall, and I was like, all right, check this place out. And sure enough, like 6 years later, I'm here. I love this
Right.
place. What do you do when you're struggling? What's your go-to?
Like I say, whenever I stand up and talk, I try and do something for somebody else. I try and get out of my own head and stop worrying about myself, understanding that my prayers with my higher power are going to be answered, and that I need to be somebody else's the answer for their prayer. You know, be the tool that Father God wants me to be.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, yeah, that's or work out, like to get healthy again.
We
and
talk
feel
about
good
that
about
too.
yourself.
Yeah,
you know?
self-care
Yeah.
all day. It helps with mental health. Michael, how long have you been doing recovery?
So this time around, I just hit my 90 days yesterday.
Hey, hang on a sec. What happened? Oh, here you go. Wait. Yeah, we applaud that stuff. We applaud that. We celebrate clean time here.
Yeah, 11/3/23.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. There we go. Oh, I'm working on camera stuff, boys and girls, so bear with me. How you liking it?
I'm loving it.
You
I'm
liking
loving
it?
Yep. So I've done it before a couple times. Obviously, you had a couple of relapses, but this is my time for sure.
Why?
I really want it this time. And before, this is my first time in treatment in a long time, since I was underage. I'm in a sober house, and I'm coming here. This is my first meeting in 17 years.
Whoa, first in 17 years?
Yeah.
Welcome
yeah,
back.
Yep. Coming Friday. Hopefully more days too. So once I get my license back, right now I'm dependent on my housemate to get me here. But yeah, once I get my license back, I think I'll be here as much as I can for sure.
What neighborhood do you live in? What city?
I'm right by New Way over south.
Okay. The
yeah.
Pillsbury House?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm at One Love.
Yeah.
Yep.
You speak up. Like, do you have curfew? Do you have a curfew?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that's a little different. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
but this whole thing, like we talk about with the show, it's a networking. You got to speak. Hey, closed mouths don't get fed.
Right.
Work for your recovery.
Right.
Start grabbing numbers. Like that's a big thing around here. How long have you been doing this?
You mean?
How long you been in recovery this
I've
time?
okay, I've only been in recovery once. Actually, no, technically this is twice, but this is the first time I actually wanted to be here.
Okay.
The first time was in 1990. I got in some trouble, and everybody kept telling me, "Oh, tell me you have a drinking problem." You know, and they'll give you that instead of jail time. So I was young, and I wasn't even thinking about stop drinking or anything like that at the time. I just wanted to get out of jail time. But this time, I decided on December 6th that I was real tired of the way I was living.
Yeah.
Insanity is doing something the same way, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
And I just was tired of the insanity, so I switched up and called out for help. I'm a U.S. Army veteran.
Thank you for your
and-
service.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. It was an honor, I should say. I called up one of the MACV workers, and immediately within a couple of hours, I was checked in at a treatment facility, and I loved it. You know, it's like I knew I needed that, and I knew that's where I wanted to be.
I have a question about that, and I know like we could go down a whole different avenue with this, but being a veteran, is there? I've had other veterans on the show. Matter of fact, the way the show used to be is I'd have a guest on, and you'd be here for 2 hours, and we could get into some deep conversations. We just can't really do that as much now. And I'd ask you that down the road maybe to come back and be a guest, because we're going to switch. And this, anyone out there listening, we are going to switch format up where once or twice a month we will have guests on where we can get into some deeper conversations. With all that said, like, I've heard is there programs for vets out there? Like right now, like is there a contact to the VA
Yes.
or something? Or
Yes, if the VA is so complicated sometimes, from what I've experienced and what I've heard other people go through. So MACV, I forgot exactly what it stands for, Minnesota area something veterans.
Okay.
Just look up MACV. They're on University Avenue in St. Paul, and they will people that answer the phones are awesome. They're very they know
Okay.
that's
So
it.
there is
They're
help
good
for
to go.
you. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
there's a lot of help with housing, with getting referrals to treatments, medical things, anything that you need as far as being a veteran. There's a little place called Every Third Saturday that once a month they allow you to go shopping if you need hygiene products, clothes,
Oh, nice.
shoes, whatever. You can go in there, use their Wi-Fi, snacks. You know, this state is like really above a lot of other places that help their veterans big time.
and that's a veteran-based program.
Yes.
All right, so look, I know this isn't fair. Pizza just showed up.
I know,
and we're
man.
bragging about it. Before I let you go, tell the name of the show is Attitude for Gratitude. What are you grateful for?
Oh man, do we have 5 hours?
That's what you can. But here's the other thing: if you got time to hang out when we cycle
Yeah.
through people, you hop back on. But I need to hear a little gratitude. Something.
I am gratitude. I am thankful for my Lord and Savior. All right.
Hey, I appreciate you. And last thing,
Thank
can I
you.
get you back on down the road?
Yes.
Perfect.
I'm gonna stick around for a while.
My man, Michael.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about your gratitude.
I think I'm grateful. Main thing, sobriety. Grateful to be here, and grateful for you guys.
Okay.
This is a great meeting. Probably, like I said, I haven't been to a meeting in like years and years, but
Okay.
best meeting I've been to ever.
This?
For real. Yeah, I've told so many people.
Wow.
I tell people about it like constantly. Every day I'm telling people about it.
That's strong.
Yeah,
That's strong.
Yeah, for sure.
Said the best ever.
Literally,
Nice.
the best vibe. So I appreciate y'all.
I appreciate
Yeah.
you. Can I get you back on down
Yes,
the road?
sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right.
I would love to do it.
Go get you a slice of pizza. Who are you?
I'm Andy. I'm an alcoholic.
Welcome to the show, Andy. Young lady, who are you?
I'm Candace. And I am alcoholic and meth.
You are here is what you are. You're here.
Definitely here.
Thank you for being on. Jake's going to get us a third seat filled. Yeah, we got curfew, so we want to make sure everyone gets on. How'd you hear about Will Work for Recovery?
Through one.
How'd you hear about Will Work?
I was pulled here. I know Jake, my home group down in Robbinsdale.
Robbinsdale, Alano.
Yep, that's
Yep.
the place. So that's the place that basically saved my life and turned my life around. I was down on Mission Detox, and they brought out a meeting, and they said, you never need to drink again. And they said, just come on down. And I kept coming, and I've been going there ever since.
I think I just met a guy named Larry from your club. He came down here.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, good people. Robbinsdale, I don't know. That's the other thing. We talk about recovery on this podcast, where people find it. The big thing is here, 2520 North 2nd Street will work for recovery. I go to a lot of meetings at New Hope Alano, Blaine Alano, Fridley Alano, Robbinsdale Alano. I go to Serenity Village a lot. I go to Eaglebrook Church. We go to 2218. Like, there's so much recovery in the metro. And if there's any place you guys like going or you want to share about, don't hesitate. We don't get stingy with our recovery. We share about it. Where else do you do meetings? Is this the only place?
I'm in a sober living, and I gotta go do a class every 5 days a week.
Okay.
And I don't know. I'm new to this. Like, I'm brand new to this.
You guys can yell all you want.
Garfield. Ethics right up.
I know, but I get to be the good guy. You be the asshole. I tell him to be loud, and you tell him to hush. Okay, and who are you? You just sat down.
Rick, alcoholic.
Rick, welcome to the show. How long have you been doing recovery?
I'm a little over a year. I also got to shout out Northeast Recovery Room.
Northeast Recovery Room?
Yeah.
What's that?
Northeast Recovery Room is at Karma Coffee. It's on Lowry, up in Northeast.
Right over those railroad tracks, right?
Yeah,
Right by-
I go
yep.
to a great meditation meeting on Thursday mornings. It's been a huge part of my recovery for the last year.
So what do you do when you're like struggling? What's your go-to when you're having issues with thoughts of drinking or your brain's just not working well with you?
Yeah, I've really been working on my connection with my higher power over the last 3 months. It's been a huge, huge thing for me coming through this year is pausing, praying, and asking for guidance. And then the next thing I've been really working on is faith and confidence in my actions, and that I know that if I ask my higher power and it's the right action, I take that action, then I'll have that faith, and that'll carry me through, and I can fight through my fears and not build up any resentments. But that's my defense
Does that
against
really
the
seem
first
to be
drink.
working those relying on your higher power?
That's all it is for me, because I know that my will is wrong. My first thought's the wrong thought, and I know, if whatever it is, if it's just little things, I just take a breath and I just think about where my higher power wants me to be, and that gives me faith. That gives me confidence that I know that I can keep on driving past the road, past the bar. I can think about others, and I can think about how to help my wife and how to help other alcoholics, and pick up the phone if need be, and just gets me through a stressful day.
Nice. So the name of the show is Attitude for Gratitude, as you heard me say. Tell me about your gratitude.
Absolutely grateful for the people in this community, the people in my home club, my family, my wife, and grateful for the program. Absolutely.
This is usually where I tell you, all right, you're up, someone's next, but just hang on. So you're married?
I am married.
All
Yep.
right, so we don't get to go so deep as I want to go. Well, so is recovery going well because is your marriage going better because you're in recovery?
Absolutely. We're both sober, and we were gonna get married last January, and I was still drinking, and then about 2 weeks before the wedding, I went to detox and got out, and I thought I still needed to have the wedding. Took some time, listened to my sponsor, listened to my higher power, took some time, and then we had a great sober wedding. So it was
Nice.
awesome. Yeah, it was awesome.
Can I count on you to come back on the show?
Absolutely.
My
Nice to
man.
meet you.
One of you guys are up next. All right. Young lady, get on that mic, please. Nice and close. I'm a dork. Are you trying to hop on? Come on. You are. Rick, switch with him. You're not leaving, are you? I need you to switch with him real quick. I have something for you a little bit later. I know Jake got you. Oh, look at how mad Rick got. He's going to throw the headphones. All right, young lady, tell me one thing about your recovery that you're grateful for.
I'm grateful for my sober living house, my roommate. You want to come? And definitely the fact that I went to treatment. It was my first time. So
What do you tell another female who's struggling right now? They come to you and say, look, I want to use tonight. What do you tell them?
I'll just take their mind off of it and see if they wanted me to do their nails or makeup or
Help them interrupt their thoughts type of
Yeah,
deal?
yeah, like-
Just get them outside their head?
yeah, get them on a different train of thought,
So what's your biggest piece of gratitude right now? What are you most thankful for in life?
Being sober and actually doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your biggest thing?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's what
Well,
we do.
I've been clean since 11/11/23.
We celebrate clean time here. 11/11/23. Nice. No, that's awesome. I'm grateful for you coming on the show. Batters up. Thank you. Come back. Will you come back?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Who are you, young man?
I am Ray, alcoholic.
Welcome to the show, Ray. Who are you, young man?
I am Nate Addict.
Nate Addict. Welcome to the show. Who are you, young man?
Yeah. They call me Jordan.
Jordan. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
All right. Here's what I need to know from all three of you.
What's going on?
What's your go-to when you're struggling?
I go to my friends in AA. My friends in
Go to them and do
recovery.
what? Would you just go stand by them or what? I know
Okay.
that answer,
I have-
but
I
they
have-
might not.
I have scheduled nights.
Okay.
Monday and Friday, I play pinochle with my friends. And Thursday, I play chess with my friends, all in AA.
Mm-hmm.
And the weekends, Fridley's really active, so they have dances and all kinds of stuff like that.
So it's Fridley Alano is what you're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. All right. That is off University. I don't know the address.
63rd.
63rd and University. I've been to many motorcycle events there, many pig roasts and concerts and all sorts of stuff. So you've got a schedule that you stick to, and when you're struggling, you reach out to the community that you've built up.
Yeah, on Wednesday I go to an old timers group there.
How long have you been in
They
recovery?
got people who've been sober longer than I have, and I've been so. On April 19th, I'll have 47 years.
Hey, you guys. 47 years of recovery right here. You see, that's what we do. We celebrate clean time here.
Definitely.
47, you know what? Your clean time might be older than everyone in this room.
It does work.
It might be that way.
I wasn't
usually.
looking at you. I wasn't looking at you. I'm messing with you.
Usually it is.
All right, well then here's a great piece of question to ask someone like you is, what do you tell someone young, early in recovery, and they're like, Ray, I don't understand how to make this thing work.
Consider God first before yourself.
Okay. I have a problem with God, Ray. What else can I do?
Consider your group before yourself.
So you, and these answers are just from experiences you've had, or like,
Yes.
Okay. How long you been doing recovery?
I've been in this since I was 16 years old, but I went out and relapsed many times, and my clean date is 7/17/23.
Congratulations.
We celebrate that stuff.
Yes, we do.
All right, young man.
Yes.
How long have you been doing recovery successfully?
Successful.
I gotta. You know what? Not even successfully. How much clean time do you have right now?
Right now, I got 9 months.
9 months.
Yes. And that's huge because I never, like many addicts, I never even thought I'd get to past a month. you
Why
know?
did you decide to get clean?
Why did I do man? Honestly, it was a desperate attempt. I was trying to honestly do it. I was doing it all for the wrong reasons, to get my family back, to possibly get my lover back. And within the midst of all that, I was pressured. My dad had just got clean from alcohol. In the midst of all that, I actually found a beauty in it, and I actually started trying around 2021. And then just this last
All right. The beauty was what? This last time what?
Yeah, just this last time, it's gonna sound messed up, but I OD'd and I just found I found the beauty of life, you know. So that's what really got me jump started and taking this seriously. I came out of that really depressed, and after I got over that depression, I just found out like I was searching for what do I need to do in life, and all I really need to do is just be present and love what life gives me and what it brings. And I lost all of that during my addiction.
So I've heard this thing, people came on here and said, like, don't leave before the miracle happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard that correlated in, like, whatever reason gets you in these rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say, like, the only way this is going to work if you do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard enough people share their stories like you're sharing. You came in here, now you're saying, like, for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But you caught a message.
Yeah,
Like, a miracle happened.
a miracle happens.
And now, do you plan on doing anything else but recovery?
Man, I can't see my life any other way. Like, this is honestly the best happiest I've ever felt. You know, like, I know nothing but recovery now, and I'm so quick to speak it to other people. I'm snitching on people if they're doing it. When I was in treatment, I'm telling you, like, this, I got a whiff of someone was selling blues in the treatment center, and I'm quick to my counselor, like, that's not right, you know? Like, you gotta be about this life, you know?
Right.
So, yes, I'm all about recovery.
And you know what? We understand what that means, snitching. You're holding people accountable.
There we go.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I'm
Yeah.
holding people accountable.
There's this dark thing around that word, but that's all good.
Hey, look.
How'd you hear? I got someone texted me a question for you. How'd you hear about Will Work for Recovery?
Actually in treatment.
In treatment.
I'm in treatment right now.
Okay. What'd they tell you? Like, how did they explain it to you? I'm always curious how they explain this place to someone, and then what was your thoughts when you came in?
Well, they said there's a bunch of cool stuff on the walls, like Applebee's, and they said that basically that they give you a little soldier when you walk in through the door for the first time, and they also said that there's a lot of recovery there, and you know that it's just a good place to be, you know.
So did you get your soldier?
Yeah, I got it on me. If you want.
You carry it with you? Yeah,
carry
show
it
the
with-
camera. Let's see this soldier people keep talking about. Here we go.
Let me find it. I got a lot of stuff in my pocket.
All right, just don't pull out the wrong thing. You at a recovery center. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Let's blow this screen up so people can see what's what. Ray,
Yes,
have you sponsored people in the program?
I sponsor 2 people right now.
Okay, so that's also a suggestion for someone to do is start sponsoring when you get to a specific stage in their recovery, or how does that mean? What
Yeah.
is sponsorship? Tell us that.
Sponsorship is helping someone with their daily problems and helping them put it into perspective with their life instead of using.
Okay. So it's something. And did you have a sponsor? Do you have a sponsor?
I have a couple of them
A couple. How can you have a couple sponsors?
because they're a married couple.
Oh, okay. Oh, you have a couple sponsor. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And you guys, I get it. Like, I'm gonna ask. All right, audience. Sorry about that.
I know one thing that got me in recovery.
Go ahead.
Uh,
Hold that soldier up when you're telling this story. What got you
All right.
into recovery?
All right, so what got me into recovery was my friend Randy Bolt died from cancer,
Okay.
and it was his dying wish for me to get sober, and that was what got me in recovery. But what kept me in recovery was the fact that I did not want to go back to drinking and doing drugs and for 6 nights a week where I was blacking out and basically didn't know where I was and put myself in danger to the point where I could have easily got hurt or hit by a car or whatever it would have been.
Right. Let's see that soldier. Let's see that soldier. There it is.
Hey,
right there it
salute.
goes. Right there. You see it in front of Marilyn Monroe. What do you like most about yourself since you've been in recovery?
Just the fact that people can trust me again.
So you trust.
Trust, yeah.
All right. Tell me about your gratitude.
My gratitude is for basically it's a lot of things, but mostly it's just towards humanity.
Nice. So if you come back, will you come back on the show too?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you, my guy. Hand him your headphones. He's on next.
All right.
All right. What's that? Yeah. Come on, just for 2 seconds. Well, then you can. All right, yeah, get someone. You got to get someone then. Ray,
Yes,
talk
sir.
to us about what gratitude is.
Gratitude is an attitude of peacefulness that you get from maintaining sobriety.
So, how long did it take for you to get that? Do you remember? I mean, that was 40 plus years ago.
Yeah, I can remember that. It was, well, I had a spiritual awakening, a profound spiritual awakening.
You know what? Usually we don't go into that because, like I said, time. But I want to hear about it.
Okay, I was on LSD and drinking and taking barrel acid, and I was in the backyard where my dog usually shits, and I was hiding back there behind the garage so my parents wouldn't find me.
Okay.
So I looked up, and all of a sudden Christ was standing on a pedestal, and he looked at me and goes, "Look what you've done to yourself." And I go, "I'm only human." And he goes, "You will recover." And then he took off, and then 6 months after that I sobered up.
That was your spiritual experience or awakening?
Spiritual awakening.
So then that happened. 6 months later, you find the rooms and you've been clean and sober ever since?
Yeah.
Yowzers. No desire to drink, pick up, drug, nothing?
No.
All right. So your go-to is the group. You get up to Fridley Alano, you reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your gratitude then.
My gratitude is a love of people in this program. It's the fellowship of this program. It's the Holy Spirit that dwells in the hearts of these people that come here, that guide me through my life.
I appreciate you coming on, Ray, with 47 years. That's amazing.
I'll have 47 years April.
Oh, yeah, we
19th.
don't front clean time. Tomorrow's
Yeah,
not
well,
promised.
46,
and you might
so
pick up. So
only 46.
46 years. That's it?
Yeah,
It's a good
that's
start, though. It's
Yeah,
a, it's a good start, man.
Keep coming back.
Yeah, keep coming back. I heard it works.
Yeah.
Mandy, I love you. All right, and I'm leaving it up to you. You got to go find someone to take your seat. I think your batter's up. You're next. You're up. Young man, who are you?
My name's Jeff.
Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
I had a question come in for you, and I kind of hijacked and gave it to him, but what brings you the most peace in your recovery today?
What brings me the most peace in my recovery today is just being able to be kind to people and do it and be generous, you know, like coming from a place with no hidden agendas, knowing that I can be the person that I was before all of this again, you know?
Right.
So I thought I couldn't be that, but
Without the substances.
yeah,
Yep.
you know, and it's just a beautiful thing. I'm just ready to be kind in every aspect, you know, and I'm able to identify and label the feelings that I have, you know.
So then I think like this might tie in right into that. What do you like most about yourself today?
That's crazy. I was just talking to a girl about this.
Imagine that.
I know, right? You know, what I love about myself today is, I mean, I kind of already just said it, you know,
Right.
like I'm really back I'm getting back to that natural person I am, and because as people, I feel like we're just natural nurturers, you know, and I listen, actually. I love to listen. I used to not listen. This is my sister over here. She actually seen me in the midst of my addiction, horrible, and I don't know how I remember this, but we used to get in the car and talk, and she would just be like, Jordan, just shut up and listen, you know?
That's one of the best pieces of advice I was given in this program was shut up and listen.
Yeah.
All right, well, with that, let's get as close as you can on the mic, and please tell me who you are.
Hello, I am. My name is Shantae.
Shantae, don't be nervous. It's just the three. It's just the three of us talking. I tell you, you're nervous. I had to bust your arm to get you on. You're the one who told him to shut up and listen, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
You're here for support.
But
huh?
if you ask her anything about gratitude, man, just go that route. She got you.
Tell me about gratitude. What's that look like for you today?
Dang, that's a good question. I say gratitude for me, what it is for me is my family, for one, my brothers, and just being able to get up and see another day, because the simple fact is tomorrow isn't promised. So as complex as life can be, you find more of appreciation of it, you know, in a way, even through the messiest times in life. So,
And having a family member in active use or addiction.
Yeah.
There's this big book that we read, and it talks about it's like a tornado ripping through your family. When you have a family member in active use or drinking or drugging, it's a tornado or a hurricane ripping through your family. And like, can you speak to that? Like, what was it like for the family when he was actively using?
well, I mean,
Not to put family drama out there, but
no. Okay, well, so our relationship is very dynamic. Me and him are actually best friends.
okay,
But technically, I just call him my brother because we've been.
your family.
Yeah. So
So for you, you can speak on just for how it was for you.
Just like you was telling me the other day.
There you go.
Tell
Come
her.
on.
a little bit like sad.
Was I there for you?
Nah,
No.
you was gone.
I was gone.
My man's was gone. It's very lonely. It's a very lonely feeling. Scary. That's the main feeling, emotion that I get. Like with him is more of fear. Like, will I lose him?
Right.
And that's my biggest thing. Because outside of him, I have a cousin who, and this is actually my blood, and I get scared of that. And me and him are really, really close. But I'm afraid one day that I'm gonna get that call. And with Jordan, I don't know. I don't think I could ever lose. I don't want to feel that feeling of losing him.
Right. Nor the fear of thinking that could happen.
Yeah.
I get that. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming out. You don't have to be an addict or an alcoholic to be on this show. We've had many people. We just had a big show with people that they had nothing to do with recovery.
Yeah.
They're just talking about a different way of living.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, Jeff, correct?
Yeah, good.
Why are you here? That's a shitty way of asking someone, huh? Why are you here, Jeff?
Now I'm here because
I should really have him over here interviewing, but
I know a few people that come down here, and I never heard of it or been down. I listened to the podcast a couple months ago, and I was intrigued by, the podcast, but I didn't know what was going on behind me in this big room. And so I was just at a meeting, and a half dozen of us came down to see what's
You squeezed in there?
the last 10 minutes.
Oh,
we
boy.
caught what's going on over there. That's pretty powerful over there.
So this is my favorite thing to ask people is like, how was this place explained to you? Do you remember how I imagine Jake or someone, how did they explain what this place was?
A guy named Tony just explained it to me an hour ago, and he said it's like if you lived by yourself and you didn't have a wife or a spouse or anything, and you were allowed to just put as many couches and TVs and signs and just stuff everywhere. That's what it looks like.
So now the other side to this question is, how would you explain it now that you've been in here? About that? Or?
Here's what I would say. When I first came to an AA meeting, I didn't feel comfortable coming in.
Okay.
And it didn't stick for me for a while. I found another place that's comfortable, and I found people that embraced me, and if I didn't show up, they called me. And when I walked in, they knew me, and they wanted to do things before and after meetings. And at least in the half hour I've been here, this place feels like it's someplace you can come in any sort of state of recovery.
Yep.
And people will welcome you in, and it's a comfortable place to see what's going on with recovery.
Nice. So I appreciate you coming on. I truly do. I know you didn't want to the first time. I was like, come over here. You're like, no. Thank you for coming on. No. Yep. No. So, hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you. No, and real quick, I need to hear about your gratitude. Yep. And then Jake, you're taking my seat, and you're knocking these guys out because these are your peoples. I appreciate you big time. Thank you. Before you tell me your gratitude, what was your name?
My name's Al.
Welcome to the show, Al.
Thank you.
All right, come on, Jordan. Tell us all about your gratitude.
My gratitude speaks when we care and when we share with others. No, my gratitude is it's coming to these meetings. I'm so grateful for meetings because honestly, I didn't know these meetings is what kept people sober. I just thought there were meetings and they push them on you, but here is where I get to show all of my gratitude and speak my story to others, which also it helps them because that's what got me to become this sober and be this sober. I had to see other people do it somehow. For some reason, that's just how I work. I knew I wanted to be sober. I knew what I had to do what I had to do to get it, but I had to see somebody do it and follow. So that's my gratitude right there.
No, just do the one here. Like this. Ooh. However. Whatever. Up, high, low. All right. Why would you ask if it was going to echo?
If I talk into it, it
as
echoes.
As long as that's red right there, you won't have echo.
All right.
All right. If you don't want to go on, you don't have to go on.
Who else are we putting on?
I felt like an asshole when I was like, get on there. Yeah, perfect. They're your people.
All right, so I'm now taking over. We got, who do we got on the mic over here?
Al.
Al, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And
I'm Andy.
Andy, welcome back to the show. Al, this is your first time in here?
Yes, it is.
What was so before you were coming down here, did anybody leave an impression on you of what Will Work was like?
Like Jeff was saying, it was described as if you were a single person and had just done your decorations however you wanted your entire life.
And
I got to the way the podcast room was, it was all bare before I started, and I was like, I'm gonna make it like the big room. He's like, okay, and I was like, all right, sweet, everything I want to do at home, I'm gonna do it here. So I keep bringing shit in here. I love it. It's awesome. All right, I'm on phone power now. Get after him, Jake.
Getting after him. I can't get Jeff on the camera. He's hiding like in the very corner behind that motorcycle. He's hiding really well.
It's probably good.
There you go. So then when you got here, what was then your impression? Like when your first response?
You can cycle through.
So we walked in about 10 minutes before the 7 o'clock meeting ended, and I just saw the mass of humanity in here. I mean, the couches were packed. Everybody was paying attention. Everybody was listening. And it was a good feeling. I saw 100 people at least in early sobriety and doing something on a Friday night. And I thought, well, this is a hell of a good place to hang out on a Friday night.
Yeah, it really is, and that's the other part is that they keep those that main room open until like midnight, so people have a place to hang out. And many people have said like this is a good place to start. Right? It's a good place to start.
Heck yeah. Actually, I take that back. The first thing that I saw when we walked in is we walked in through the nursery. So there's a bunch of little kids playing, having a good time. I said, hey, I have a 3-year-old myself. That'd be a good place for him to hang out.
Yeah. Yeah, that the fact that they offer free babysitting down here, that's huge, and gives an opportunity to people that might not have that. So that's it's always a good resource to have that you don't see everywhere. Now that when I run the show, I like to go into what we call deep dive.
Deep dive.
Deep dive.
So who do we want to pick on first?
Andy.
Andy, you want the first question?
Let's do it. Let's go deep.
All right. This is one of my ones that my go-tos. What is something you had to learn the hard way?
Oh boy. Something I had to learn the hard way. I guess I had to learn, we were kind of talking about it tonight at the meeting. I had to learn how to check my ego. I've had to humble myself, humility. You know, I don't know if it was necessarily all that hard, but having an ego shock, trying to check some of the selfishness and self-serving character defects, attitudes that I have. So, yeah, it was a big ego shock that for a long time that I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought that everything was going to work out fine. I thought I was smarter than everyone else. And then having somebody in my family tell me, if you don't do anything right now, you can't be a part of this family anymore. That was a huge ego shock. And I guess that was the hard way, because if I wouldn't have my family, and that would be the biggest loss. I thought I was smarter than that. I thought I was getting by, but I wasn't. I was going downhill really fast. So I had to learn that I don't know what I'm doing.
Hopefully he's got a big memory on that phone. Sorry, Andy.
That was awesome. I'd have to resonate pretty hard with that, Andy. My ego and learning the different avenues of it, because I always understood that I had an ego, but the way that it showed up was that was a hard lesson for me.
Yeah, as I was really smart, you know, in high school and college, and school came easy for me, and you know, I could figure most things out, but alcohol I could not figure out, and yeah, that was a big one, to the point where, you know, I'm ruining family functions, but I don't know how deep we go.
Can I take that question? What was the question again?
What'd you have to learn?
What is something you had to learn the hard way?
Here's what I had to learn the hard way, and it was during my active use. I spent a number of years trying to use drugs, etc., like a normal person. Like Andy, I thought I was reasonably intelligent. I had a lot of willpower. I could do a lot of things that were hard. I thought I didn't want to quit. I wanted to drink like a normal person. I wanted to have a few beers on a Friday night with my friends and my brothers and whatever, and go home. And that I chased that insanity almost to death. Is just trying to drink like a normal person. That is and learning that my disease doesn't allow that was the hardest thing for me. I chased it almost to death.
And that was your tough lesson, is that the best way ever, I'm never going to out disease.
Yeah, I tried. That's true.
Alex.
Yeah.
Same question. What is something you had to learn the hard way?
I had to learn that I could learn from other people's mistakes. I didn't have to make every mistake myself. I remember very vividly, I was in one of my first meetings, court ordered, as a speaker meeting. There's another young man there who had gone farther down into his addiction than I had. And everything that he said about his story up until the point that I was at in my life resonated. But then he continued and progressed further. And he lost a driver's license for a long period of time. Then he was homeless for a long period of time. And then he was in and out of prison. And I just saw, like, it still kind of gives me chills to think about, but I just saw that's exactly what's going to happen to me if I continue on with the drinking. And it was like, you know, I was always a kid. If you told me not to touch the hot stove, I'd touch the hot stove. You know, I couldn't learn from somebody else. But something changed here.
That's awesome. I heard a lot of stories, and some I listened to, and some I was like, nah, I don't want to get like that. And I think I towed that line. So that's a really good lesson to remember. And I appreciate your experience on that. I like to break some things up, and in between these deep dives, I go to a simpler question. Jeff.
Yes.
What is your dream job?
Oh. My dream job?
Dream job.
That's a great question. Is that the deep dive question, I hope?
No, this is the
easy
break,
question?
yeah, in between
Like,
each deep
literally.
dive. Because I do like deep dive break,
Right.
deep dive break.
Well, because I'm struggling.
Your dream job is retirement.
No, sometimes, you know, I sometimes have some stress in my job, and I literally, I have this fantasy that I'm just going to go out and mow grass. Just mow grass. I think I could be happy just mowing grass.
Like zero turn mower, like just
Because I like
Fast
the
as you can.
patterns, and I
Yeah.
like to efficient. Yeah, I'd like to
Golf
do it
course?
efficient. Golf course. I worked at a golf course. I would do it again. I one time got the big mower stuck in a swamp.
Doesn't Forrest Gump do that for his? Yeah.
So wait, you got the big mower stuck in a swamp.
Yeah. Well, not in a swamp, but it was a.
We got to hear this, right?
No, it just here's it's my alcoholic personality. I was an alcoholic before I used too many drugs and alcohol. My personality is I'm mowing and I want to get as close to that swamp as possible. I want the excitement, the anxiety, the adrenaline rush of being as close to the edge as I can get, and because it's part of my ego that I want to do the best mowing job possible. And then I'm also a little bit of a, risk taker, so I'm as close to that friggin' swamp as I can get. And when you live like that, things tend to go wrong. You have errors. You can't live on the edge like that without making.
So like maintaining football fields. That
No
that
swamps?
goes. No swamps.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you
That'd
go.
be your dream job. Andy, what's your dream job?
Is it a cliche that I'm kind of doing my dream job?
No.
Like,
Tell us about it.
Well, okay, I guess there was two things when I was in high school. I was like, okay, you can either go and try to be a teacher. I guess my other dream job would be to be a filmmaker. That was my dream job.
Are you a film
I have a
buff?
lot of opinions about film and screenwriting and directing and the whole process.
Do you
So
have
I
a
made
Rotten
that
Tomatoes
decision,
account?
and when I made that decision in high school, I was like, okay, well, I'll just go into education. Looking back, and I know that it was totally a fear-based decision, and I let fear run my life, and I was afraid to go and try to do anything that wasn't safe, and I was doing music the whole time in high school, and it was just that was easy. So when I decided to go to college, I was like, well, I could either go and try to become a band director, which I'm sure will just be easy. My selfish brain was like, oh, this will be easy. I won't have to work at all. Or I could be a badass film director because I love that and kind of chase the dream. In the end, I let fear decide, and I ended up going to a college that my sisters went to because I didn't want to go anywhere else because I was too afraid to do anything else. And so I was just like, whatever, I'll just go there. It'll be easy because I know it already, and I'm afraid.
So how long have you been teaching now?
So now I've been doing some type of education for about 20 years. Wow. And I like it. I like it because it's different every day. And I'm thinking a lot about it because I've been in and out of a lot of schools because I'm a substitute teacher. So you get to see a lot of different schools and a lot of different, a lot of grades and a lot of subjects if you want, which is one of my goals, to try to see as much going on. And I realized that I really like it. I like it because I feel like I'm being helpful and it's challenging. I learn something every day. That's what I'm afraid of with jobs, when I'm just getting bored. Then it's time to move on. So I figure out this is dumb. I'm bored. So I don't know. I'm doing my dream job, but I also think I'd be a good film director. But I'm also lazy. I'm selfish. But maybe that'd offer me another way to challenge myself. So yeah.
Awesome. Alex, what's your dream job?
I think my dream job would be to be a farmer.
To be a farmer?
Yep.
That sounds like a lot of hard work.
It is a lot of hard work, but...
And that's you just dream of hard work?
Well, it's self-directed hard work. So you wake up in the morning, feel like having an extra cup of coffee, that's all right. But you got to get to the work at some point.
I'm going to just answer that for him. Yes, Al's a hard worker. Yes, that's the answer.
Al wakes up dreaming of hard work.
Yeah.
That's admirable. If you're going to farm, what would be the field that you...
standing in his
well,
field.
Unfortunately, Minnesota, we're kind of limited by climate on what really grows well here, but I'd like to own orchards.
Orchards?
Yep.
Okay, so you want to go like apple orchard?
Apple orchard, maybe something nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's I know there's apple orchards here. I didn't know there's nut orchards in Minnesota.
Mean, there's better climate. Michigan and Washington have better climates for silviculture.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
Silviculture.
Nice.
That's, I believe, that's growing food from trees.
I like it.
Yep.
Jake, what's your dream job?
My dream job?
Podcast.
Oh, man.
Friday night podcast.
Bingo caller.
Oh,
yes.
Non-profit president.
I enjoy all of the opportunities that I do get to do, like be on podcasts and call bingo and be on and work with a nonprofit and all those other fun things. I think that would, ideally my dream job would just be, financially secure enough, I guess, to be able to do those types of things full time. I don't really want to make money or get rich off of doing that type of stuff, but anywhere where I can go and have some type of helping hand and something that I can really put my personality up that helps out a situation like bingo calling. Like, not everybody wants to do that or likes doing that, and me, I have like just the time of my life doing that. So I don't know if I'd want to be a full-time bingo caller or a full-time board representative or a full-time podcaster, but just the ability to bounce around and do those types of things, freelancing, I suppose.
Sure.
So that would be fun. Jeff.
Yes.
What gives you peace?
What gives me peace? I think I can be peaceful.
Being financially secure.
Well, that's, yeah. I have a fear of financial insecurity. So either I have to have so much money and stability that is allayed, or I need to be spiritually fit. Being spiritually fit, when I'm spiritually fit, which, excuse me, occasionally happens, I can, they talk about, Buddhists and you're the calm in the storm. I can be, everything can be coming up roses for me, and I can be not at peace. I can be worried about things and having tragic scenarios rolling through my head. The flip side of that, when I'm spiritually fit, when I'm doing what the big book tells me to do, basically, I can have things not go well around me, and I can actually feel peace. And it doesn't happen a lot, but I'm going to be honest with you. When it happens, now in the last, let's say in the last 6 months, I can vividly remember more than once where I can say, you know, there's a lot of things going on around me, and I am peaceful. And that's a gift that this program has given me, because when I was young, like as a kid and even through my life, there was very few times where I could tell you that I was not worried about the future or regretting the past. That occupied my mind a lot of the time, worry, the fear of financial insecurity and all of that stuff. So this program has given me, it's taken me a few years. This didn't come quick for me, but I can be at peace if I do what this book tells me, even when things aren't going well. And that's probably the biggest gift that I've gotten.
So what brings you peace is just following the principles laid out before us in the big book?
Yeah, I mean, it's making sure you clean house right away. If you make a mistake, apologize. When you get up in the morning, do some prayer and meditation if that's what you do. Help others. All of that combined, all of those. I'll just say it. You can tell me. I don't know if this podcast is AA. Agnostic to how you do recovery, because there's a lot of ways to recover. AA is how I do it, and when I do the 12 steps of AA, which includes helping people and being of service, I can have a peaceful mind despite what's going on around me. I can have financial things happening. I can have trouble at work. I've had some family members pass away recently. The fact that I can be in those situations and still experience peace is a miracle to me, because I did not experience a lot of peace prior to getting into this program.
Wow. That was great. That was really, really good. Andy, can you follow that up?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm sure like that, there's no measurement.
Yeah, no,
here.
what brings me peace?
Yeah, what brings you
obviously, no, not obvious. Yeah, what brings me peace? Is this a time when I can talk about Buddhism? Yeah, I like the breath. My breath, in, out, that brings me peace. It's not about things going my way or having success, or for me, having peace. Lately, I was talking about it earlier when I was in the podcast, is faith. I'm trying to work on having faith in my actions, faith that and confidence in my actions.
So walk me through that. What do you do to put that action? Like, what are those actions look like? What is that putting the action into your faith? What do you do?
So, I'm following a little bit of Thich Nhat Hanh and Zen Buddhism, coupled with the 12 steps and spiritual principles, and looking into that. And there's overlap there in the idea of faith and Thich Nhat Hanh and Zen Buddhism. They call it confidence. And there's, through the process of letting go of things and recognizing character defects, like in AA, the 10th step, kind of work on checking ourselves regularly throughout the day. And I check myself when I start to get emotionally out of peace or not serene. Returning back to, okay, how does my higher power want me to be right now in this moment? And it's at peace. So I try to choose an action that I think will be the right action, and then letting go the rest of that. That's been a huge thing for me, is not getting all worked up about things that I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know how something is going to turn out, so I'm just going to get all heated and nervous and stressed out, and I can't sleep. That's been a big thing for the last, as long as I can remember, is feeling anxiety about some decision that I have not made because I'm afraid to do it. So I'm working on like taking action, and by taking action, having peace is having confidence that, okay, I'm not in control of the outcome. I'm only in control of what I'm doing, and that's kind of a mantra. Can't control the outcome. I can only control the action.
Can you tell me a little bit about some of these practices, like a little bit in depth on one of the practices? Because I actually, like, Jeff learned it from you, and then I learned it from Jeff, and that was the heart to heart.
Oh, the heart to heart with my wife, my partner.
Yes.
Yes.
'Cause I after he had told me about that, I went home and practiced that.
Oh, okay.
And feeling the energies that I've never actually stopped to, consciously feel and try to understand what's happening in that moment. And that it was a very powerful experience. And
Interesting.
that's why I want you, that's why I'm poking a little bit just to get you to uncover a little bit about that, because obviously I only have practiced this in learning and passing. And this is something that we have learned from you.
Well, this has to do with a relationship with my partner, who's my wife. But this interpersonal partnership that we've chosen to engage upon, however you want to perceive that with another person, but this is an intentional breathing and touch exercise that is holding each other. This was recommended to her by her therapist. So this is not me. This is not Thich Nhat Hanh or Zen Buddhism. This is, I don't know where she got it from. But we tried it. And I guess this is another example of contempt before investigation is no good, because, I could say like, whatever, that's BS, So anyway, the practice is, what is the practice? The practice is hold another person, your partner, whomever, hold the other person and breathe simultaneously together. And it was recommended to do it 6 times. So going up to our wedding, this was a big important thing for us because there was a lot of stress before our wedding. Making sure that we're making the right decisions, leaving the house not in stress. So it's a meditation, but it's a meditation that is shared with a partner. It's a partner meditation. So the practice is hold each other, heart to heart, breathe in, breathe out 6 times. And it's a little mini partner meditation, I guess is the best way to describe it. You can feel a lot. I noticed you can feel a lot. You can sense a lot, even if you're not saying it. You can sense that just by being around someone. But when you're holding someone and doing that kind of a intimate meditation with someone, even though it's brief, there's a lot of insight to be gained through that, I feel like.
Yeah, I would agree. The time that I had practiced it, I think my experience was I kind of felt my own selfish thoughts, and because in the moment, like, I'm thinking about me and this because I don't want to feel this and all these other things, and I don't know, about 20 seconds into it, I don't know, we're maybe going into the 3rd or 4th breath, I can tell that I am now conscious of like her thoughts and maybe her feelings, and starting to wonder what I can do to enhance the situation for her. And I that partner meditation, that best way to put it, right?
Yeah, I think Andy said it came from somewhere not in a Buddhist tradition, but I think the concept of being intentional and being in that moment, if you're there for 6 breaths and that's your intention, you're not thinking about what's for dinner and
Right.
what's next. I mean, and that's one of the tenets of meditation, is being in the moment. And honestly, back to what I was saying about the being peaceful earlier, that's another thing that this program has given me, is the ability to be in the moment, not thinking about the past or the future, which is, it's a, and you can really, live much more fully being a moment than thinking about the future. And being fearful really is a lot of what I used to think.
I think if you're holding someone and you're intentionally practicing these in-out breaths together, it's really obvious if you're being selfish. Like if you're thinking like, oh man, I wish she would breathe different. She's not breathing right or something. It's really obvious to sense that when you're not connected. Like I feel like sometimes when I'm doing my solo meditations, whether you practice it or not, I love it. But I do sense it's easy for me for my brain to drift. But it's hard to do that when you're doing it with someone. That's why I like the group meditation at Northeast Recovery Room too. We shouted out them earlier. So group meditations I think are good too.
Right on. I really appreciate your meditation input. That's not something that we hear all the time.
I like it.
Al? Yeah.
What brings you peace?
Well, I need to turn it over to my higher power. I choose to call that higher power God. And for me, what that means is I control my action, but I don't control the outcome. There's just a lot of things that are outside of my control, and I need to trust that things will work out the way that they're intended to.
So, can you go a little bit into that? Because we hear that a lot in AA, that, trust in your higher power, let go, let God, don't worry about what you can't control, those types of situations. Can you go in a little bit to somebody who might be listening to the show that's like, yeah, I've heard that, but what do I do?
Okay, I could give an example from today.
Perfect.
I had an appointment to meet somebody at a bank to receive payment, and that person didn't show up. So what I chose to do was to bring a book with, just in case that happened, so that I would have something to do while I was sitting there. And then I talked to my AA and asked him what his advice would be. And he recommended that I go buy some flowers for my wife and go help out around the house. And I thought that was a little weird. Sounds crazy, but I did it. And at the end of the day, I had a happy wife, and I had forgot about the event until I brought it up at AA.
Right on. That very early on in the book, it's one of those things I point out right away when I'm reading it, or if I'm working with others. Bottom 14, top of 15. Bill Story talks about for if an alcoholic failed to enlarge their spiritual life through self-sacrifice and help for others, they could not survive the trials and tribulations ahead. And then on page 20, it goes on. It says, our very lives as ex-problem drinkers depend upon our constant thought of others and how we may help meet their needs. So that's what, your example brought me right to that. And I appreciate your, the example and going into that. I know I might be a little pokey to you guys, but,
No,
good
by all
content,
means.
right? I'm going to stick with Al for a minute.
Okay.
Al, what are you doing for your recovery recently?
Well, January 12th, 2014.
2014. So you just celebrated 10 years.
Yep.
All right. Get ready for this one. Might be a little loud.
Thank you.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But one thing that became apparent to me as I was reflecting back on those 10 years is that I had built up some resentments in a way that I had maybe cleared up initially on my fifth step, but that needed to be addressed in a meaningful way again. So,
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
He's playing with the camera.
Hey, no problem. So last week I asked a trusted friend to hear another fifth step, and that was the second time in recovery for me that I've done a full fifth step. So
So I've heard of like 10-year surrenders. Was that is that like this experience or not?
Nothing particular. I had, I've recently had some tough times with mental health and that kind of thing related to some military service, and kind of parsing through that, trying to figure out, am I, having issues with PTSD or what's going on. Kind of started to realize that I had, institutional resentments that I hadn't really paid much attention to. So when I did my fifth step initially, a lot of things with interpersonal relations and who am I resentful at, and going through that, fourth and fifth step. But some things kind of snuck up on me that they were there, but I didn't really have any way to deal with them meaningfully in that normal 10th step daily reflection.
So can I touch on the mental health thing a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it's something that's not always talked about, and it's a very normal thing in sobriety or in recovery, right? And it's something that very early on. It's not something that people will genuinely talk about, but it is very normal, and it's actually almost expected to hit a bout of depression in your early recovery. At least, like a lot of people that I've talked to have experienced this.
Yeah.
So it is a very normal thing to hit these types of patches in our recovery where it's, addressing our mental health or addressing some type of anxiety disorder or what have you, right? Like there's a long list of things. So that was something that you took a look at and you addressed it in a healthy manner through partially with the steps. Was there anything else along that way that you took to address it?
Absolutely. Yep. So I'm a veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. And so I do go to the VA. I have a psychiatrist there that I've seen for 10 years, all my time in sobriety. And, on his recommendation, I did a 40-day inpatient dual diagnosis treatment program. Treats mental health and I thought it was going to kind of be in there, with a lot of people who are going into sobriety. In some ways it was, and in most ways it wasn't. I mean, in most ways I needed to be there. So yeah, it was, there's a lot of things that were addressed, cognitive behavioral therapy and those types of things. But yeah, so I'd say, for people that are suffering from dual diagnosis, mental health, and substance abuse, my best advice would be to treat both.
Exactly. And sometimes it might look like it's one or the other.
Right.
So that's a very powerful message and one that, is absolutely needs to be heard, and especially someone that's been in the rooms for 10 years, right? That it treat both.
Yeah, these things, I mean, for me, I've done another deployment now since I've been sober. Looked completely different, much easier for me to handle the stresses of that. But those resentments built up and really caught me off guard. I a couple of years into sobriety, I would have told you, AA, you are set. As long as you work this program to the best of your ability, there's nothing that can touch you. And maybe that's the little bit of cockiness that caught me up.
Well, I appreciate it. This was very powerful. Who do I pick on next?
I don't care.
He doesn't care. Andy,
You're running the show here.
What's up?
What are you doing for your recovery recently?
Recently, I have been helping some sponsees, trying to do my best. So, working with other alcoholics, trying to help myself with that. So that's been a huge help. The 12-step says to go and do that, and I was told by my sponsor to read the book with another person, and I've been doing it, and that has been awesome. Rereading the book, and I get something totally different from it this go around than I did the first go around. New insights, learning new things about my program and my connection to my higher power, and yeah, just kind of keeping it going. Keep on working, not resting on any kind of laurels. Also, I know that when I don't keep up with my like I'll say again, meditation practice, but that's coupled with a little bit of yoga. That's been good. So yeah, working with other people, trying to attending meetings,
Keeping the lights on at an Alano club.
keeping the lights on, working at getting in the middle, helping out, being of service.
So what is your experience? So now you're talking about sponsoring and the 12 step and going back through the book. I remember when I got caught by my sponsor at the time, he asked me, because we just finished 164, and he asked me, do you want to go through the steps again? And after finishing that, I'm like, I have no fear about this. I'm like, yeah. He goes, go teach it then. It's like, and in the very beginning, I was like, I don't know about that, right? But that ended up making the book come alive for me.
Yeah, for sure.
So I appreciate you giving your experience on that and the 12 step and how important that is for you.
Yeah, like earlier you were quoting parts of the book, but you were doing that from memory, right? You don't have the book out.
Right.
Right. not under your lap or something.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm just trying to get a little bit more intimate connection with the program. I really like talking with people about the history of the program too. That's really cool. Just the history of people who came before us it's very, you listen to the stories of these people in the book, and then when you're reading it with another person and they're just nodding their head, just like I did when I was reading those stories in the big book. It's like, yep, that's me, or I see parts of myself in there. So I would be interested in spending more time talking about the history. I think maybe at another time, maybe we could put together some type of deep dive into the history of
I love
recovery.
doing that. Like, we nerded out at our last meeting at our home group, and we just went on and on about like the history and how this forward to the second edition came out, and like the 12 and 12 and all that other, and I nerded hard. And luckily I wasn't the only one in the room that was having that moment, so I always appreciate other.
Yeah, I have a different viewpoint. I'm open to that, but there's a gentleman in our group who likes to say that you have to make your own program. Yeah. And part of that for me, in all honesty, is I try to keep it simple. It intrigues me, some of that stuff, but I need to just make sure I put the 12 steps into practice to the best of my ability every day. And I don't know. I try to keep it simple. And going into that, what Bill Wilson was wearing in 1938 when he wrote Chapter 7 and who he talked to. And it's interesting to me, and I would absolutely be part of such a thing, but that's not where I find the solution. It's interesting. It's a side thing for me. But I will say this. The fact that book was written in 1939 with their experiences, and it is so relevant to my life in 2024. It's almost eerie how accurate that book is. It's amazing. So there is a benefit to understanding what he was thinking and what was going on. I'm not disagreeing with your points.
No, I think I kind of get what you're saying too, because like when I did a little bit of deep dive on myself on just the Serenity Prayer, and I just was like, what is the Serenity Prayer? Where did that come from? And I started to look at some of the history, and then there's like controversy behind some of the history of it about who actually is it attributed to, and you can start to kind of doubt some of the maybe validity of some of that if you're like, well, it's got controversy to it. So if it was just simple and I'd never done that, I just prayer, and a lot of people have listened to it and said it over the years, and but yeah, I think going into it, you can start to.
Do you want to nerd out about this deep dive that you had?
Yeah, I want to nerd out about it.
You're more than welcome to.
Oh no, because I know I'm gonna say something wrong because I don't have it memorized or anything like that. At some later date.
Okay, not a
I
problem.
would be interested in it, but I don't want to piss anyone off though too, because I don't want to say something and people are like, "Hey, whoa, that's not important. Why are you trying to destroy the legacy of whatever that people hold dear?" Because like I feel like I'm such a newbie. I've only been doing this for a year that I don't have the right to tell other people that actually this was what was actually going on back then or whatever, because that's not fair. Because like we say in this program, tell your own story, and I don't want to talk too. So I know what you're saying, Jeff. That could be troublesome.
I've got a nerd topic.
What you got?
I'm interested to see what this what's the new edition that's coming out in like
when's that coming out?
The translation?
Yeah.
That is supposed to come out before 5th edition next year.
I'm pretty stoked to read that. There's some times where just the language that's used in the big book from the 1930s.
Third step, like you replace the thous and the these.
Yes. Like at one placed all the thous with you. It made the prayers come to life for me. I'm interested to see what that translation reads like.
So our meeting has a GSR, and they brought back some information that basically there was some controversy that new edition was going to be the next edition of the big book. But what it really is there's a Spanish translation and there's a Slovakian translation and there's going to be a basic English translation. It's like an official language of basic English. So I don't know much about it other than that, but then there's going to be a 5th edition with the normal 164 pages for the traditionalists. You don't have to read the nuance. I don't like change, so I will be intrigued by the basic English version. I'll read it, but I like the original.
No, I'm gonna try to I remember I had some snippets of the actual new translations. I'm trying to find it in our district folder from being a GSR. The information that comes back. So I'm going to deep dive. Jeff, if you could tell us what you're doing for your recovery recently.
What am I doing for my recovery recently? I am. The most obvious things I'm doing is I'm reading with a sponsee right now. I have a few sponsees, but I'm actively reading with one, and that is super fulfilling. I gotta throw out my escalator story, Jake.
Do it
in honor of you in this podcast. So I was in a treatment center that was big book based, and there was a gentleman there who I really respect. His name was Harry C., and he talked about recovery is like a down escalator, and you're walking up it, and you need to walk up it in a consistent manner. You need to take steps. You need to take action consistently, because if you pause, that escalator is going down, and you may not realize how far in the depth that escalator is bringing you until it's too late. And so I believe in doing something to enlarge my spiritual condition and something for my recovery as frequently as possible for that reason. So I have the defense against the first drink. And I would say I'm working with a sponsee. I find that super important. I went out and took a meeting to a detox not too long ago. I found that really fulfilling. And I show up to my meeting. If I'm in town, I'm at my meeting on Friday nights. That's important to me because our Friday meetings had enough newcomers come through the door. I just want the hand to AA to be there. when
You want to
somebody
shout
walks
out your
through.
meeting?
Yeah, we're
Go ahead and plug it.
we're in the Robbinsdale Alano on Friday nights in Robbinsdale. It's 4055 Regent, and we have a men's group at 6 o'clock. There's also a women's group at 6 o'clock, but I attend the men's group.
Awesome. And what is this group called?
Well, it's called TBD because when we started it, that was our name, to be determined. And then when we registered with Intergroup, somebody said, let's just leave it TBD and we'll call it 2 Beat Drinking. So our name is TBD.
Right on. Another good meeting Friday nights at Robbinsdale Alano, as Jeff mentioned, 4055 Regent Avenue North.
Well
that
done.
sounded well. That was good. That was good.
There's a correct way to actually go through a mic, and the exercise is called breathing through your feet.
Oh,
Yeah. You
interesting.
practice it in like news
Go to
anchors.
the Brown Institute.
So I actually have translations, the samples for what they have so far that they're willing to release.
Yeah.
I'll start with something really short, and if you guys want me to go to something more, because like obviously there's a few here that we can translate. So in the doctor's opinion, in the big book it reads, frothy emotional appeal seldom suffices.
Wait, let's say that again.
Yeah. I gotta let that sink in.
Frothy emotional appeal seldom suffices.
That's true.
Frothy emotional appeal.
Seldom
So
suffices.
Seldom
I think I'm tracking.
So
Yeah.
what that means is my
No, don't even try.
Wait,
Don't
yeah, could
even
we
try.
could we
Let's
actually
just
like
hear it.
try to make it up? Like what
No.
would how would we translate it?
No, it's-
Frothy emotional appeal. What is frothy? Is it
See, I was just giving an example when I was going through the big book, but like I could never try to translate this to simpler terms.
I can. It's very. I think I can.
Oh, let's
it
hear it.
is. It is.
This is doctor's opinion, so that
our-
gives you the context.
Our wives and families, no matter how hard they pleaded,
Yep.
could not get through to us.
And I would say seldom. I mean, my personal experience, that never works.
No, no.
It made
There
me
are a
get,
lot of caveats in the book when I was reading the first few chapters the last couple weeks. There's a lot of like, not always, but mostly we notice,
Right.
you know, because they don't always say, they don't want to do like declarative, like
Absolutes.
always or
Right.
never. Yeah, absolutes, yeah.
Absolute. So the way that the translation, and remind you, they are translating the 4th edition. The 5th edition, when it's released, will be in the 164, the way it reads now. But this translation, the way it will read is, begging these people to stop drinking never helps.
So much simpler.
So I recently, when I was up at that treatment program, we had the opportunity to go out on Sunday night to a meeting. And, you know, I went in and it was a great meeting, and they had a whole collection of big books, and we were reading through the big books, and the one that I had picked had all of the confusing language like highlight and then written in plain English above it. And I thought, oh yeah. And mostly it was like one individual word. But I mean, there was lots of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
got
somebody
another
already
one?
started.
Yeah.
I do.
I like it. Oh.
The big book, the way it reads. And it means, of course, that we are going to talk about God. Here, difficulty arises with agnostics.
Say that one more time.
That's not that complicated.
And it means, of course, that we are going to talk about God. Here, difficulty arises with agnostics.
Here difficulty arises with agnostics. I mean, what would it be like?
You know,
The book talks about the G word. Or
I've struggled with like fully comprehending the difference between an agnostic and an atheist throughout my life. So I'd be interested to see what the modern translation is there.
Yeah.
Did
Survey
you want to?
says?
Do you want to take a crack
no,
at it?
I'm,
No?
that's fine.
Here's the translation. It also means that we are going to talk about God. If you aren't sure that God exists, in other
Oh.
words, if you are an agnostic, this may worry you.
in other words. So they're just throwing in definitions into it. They're like putting in, you know, parentheticals that say like, in other words, this word
I don't
also
think the word
means that.
parentheticals is going to be in the translation, but No, you're correct. That's that, and like again, this is a translation to assist. Like it's not going to take over the basic text, and there might be meetings out there that will say we are a big book study of, plain and simple language. Just like if you were to look in Intergroup and you saw one that was a big book study and it was in Spanish, it would say Spanish, right?
I'm curious how much they want to throw in like definitions like that where they define agnostic. Have you guys ever read Shakespeare?
That's
I
what
think
I
the
was
big
going to
book
say.
is
If
about
you
the
think about
closest.
agnostic, that definition maybe has changed over the course of 400 years of English language.
It could. Well, I was thinking when you read Shakespeare, when I read Shakespeare, a lot of times there are footnotes on every other word or so. And then your mind wants to kind of glance down at the footnote and see like what is the definition of that word or what's the cultural context. And when I read that, it breaks up the flow of the Shakespeare. And so I can't sense it. But without the footnotes, if you just read it through, there was an original kind of flow and meter to it that you would just sit there
Iambic
and watch
pentameter.
it. Something like that, where the meaning would come through and you don't necessarily need the definition of every word. So that's why I'm curious is if this new translation, it could get, that's a fear that I have, that it would get muddied down, or a concern, not a fear. I guess I'm not afraid.
You want a little bit bigger one?
Wait, I'm just going to go on record and just divulge to the entire podcast world that I never read Shakespeare. I just copied off my in seventh grade. Never read it. Don't even know what these guys are talking about. Next, go ahead.
I remember we were assigned Shakespeare once, and I think it sat in my backpack for like 4 months.
Yeah. I was an alcoholic before I started drinking. No, because
No.
Jacob knew about it over there.
Yeah, people were talking about.
9:32.
Val, can you hear us now? Hi, Val.
So we may have been muted for 4 minutes.
No,
4 minutes. That was some of our best
that's
stuff.
the good stuff.
That's all right.
That was good stuff. All right, just one more time. I'm going to read the way that the big book reads now. Many of us exclaimed, "What an order! I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is, we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. And the way that translates in Jeff's new favorite translation reads like this. If this is your first time reading through these steps, they may seem difficult or even impossible. Do not be discouraged. No one has ever carried out these steps perfectly. We are not saints. We are simply people who are willing to grow both spiritually and personally. These principles are here to guide our progress, and our shared goal is spiritual progress, not spiritual perfection.
Yeah, that's good. I'm
Yeah, I
curious
like
how
it.
they're gonna retranslate all the different ways that they did. Like,
No, so there's no sound, but we just hit on you. Let me see.
I wish I had my book with me because there are some really really funny ones.
Yeah.
In the ways they describe a bend. And are they
I
gonna?
hear you.
are they gonna-
Okay, I hear you.
Hey.
Okay. Thank you, Jaleesa. We are about to call away. All right. Is there anything that you'd like me to look specifically for?
How it works? No, not how it works. We Alcoholics. Is there anything from that? There's a couple good stories in there about.
No, they haven't translated any of the books yet, or at least they didn't give us any samples. Just the 164.
Oh yeah, no, from there. Like there's like a story about a guy named Fred and a story about a guy named Jim. It's the guy who puts the whiskey in his milk.
Yeah. Okay, that'll be a great story to read in translation. The closest part of that book is when they're talking about step 3.
Oh, okay.
In trying to make these arrangements, our actor may sometimes be quite virtuous. He may be kind, considerate, patient, generous, even modest and self-sacrificing. On the other hand, he may be mean, egotistical, selfish, and dishonest. But as with most humans, he is more likely to have varied traits. Jeff, how would you translate that?
That's kind of we're either jerks or we're overly nice to still so people won't take our alcohol away from us. That's what it.
Just to get our own way.
Yep.
All right, so that's what that was the way the big book read. The new translation to plain and simple language will read, and as they try their best to control all the parts and players, they may seem kind, patient, generous. On the other hand, they may seem mean, selfish, and dishonest. Since they're human, they most likely show a mix of these traits.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I can live with that. If anybody's asking, if I'm in charge, it's okay.
So I know a little bit about how this comes about, that it's basically like groupthink, like people vote on these things. Do we know is there any kind of like scientific studies that people have like pitched these to? Do we know anything about like?
So the way that it all came out is there's actually 2 companies in the nation that their whole thing is to translate books and readings and scripts from the way they're written to plain and simple language. And they're actually like accredited for it. And Alcoholics Anonymous vetted both of them, and they selected one of those 2. And for obvious reasons, World Services will not tell us which company is doing it.
Oh.
Because they don't want a bunch of people calling them and giving them their input.
We wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I might, actually.
Okay, so no.
So
It's closely held.
so yeah, those who are doing it know what they're doing.
Well, we
Or
have
at
to have
least
faith
that's-
that they know what they're doing.
Right.
Or you could just do your own.
Yeah.
Or we could do that.
No one's stopping me.
I'm sticking with the 164. It creates a lot of conversation when you have to explain
Yeah.
these. You
Yeah.
can see the puzzled look
Yeah.
on people's faces when you read some of these things, and you can share your experience.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
like an
uh,
old movie, you know, and they make a remake. It's like, okay, they're trying to update it, but just go with the old one.
It's like when they used to do church services in Latin, so nobody would understand what was going on.
Yeah, you didn't need to understand. You just need to get the emotion. You just need to get the feeling of it, like Shakespeare.
Like Shakespeare. All right, what kind of question do you guys want?
Whatever you got.
You're the host, Jake.
Yes, but I want my
You know what? We really should give all the people standing behind us that want to get in.
all these people standing behind
There's
you.
so many people. What would you do if we just all three got up and left?
I would have to either completely BS it for
12 minutes to go.
Monologue.
18 more
I
minutes.
think my bus is coming.
I'd have to go for 18 minutes of just jibber jabber.
You can just start reading the news.
You know what? Honestly, I intended to leave about a half hour ago, but I can see you sitting here by yourself.
I can see me
I wasn't
sitting here by
comfortable.
myself.
I was never gonna leave.
That's why I like Andy. He's one of my favorites. Andy, being in the fellowship has been one of the great joys for me.
Oh, thanks.
I mean that.
Thank
I've said that to Jeff many times. That I definitely enjoyed seeing you come in and be part of it. All right, let's start with this one.
Never have I ever.
Jeff, what motivates you the most?
What motivates me the most? That's a good question. I don't know that this is a very positive answer, but
Oh, now we got Jeff on the screen. Look at that.
I don't love that. Here's what motivates me. My experience is very clear that if I don't enlarge my spiritual condition, I will drink again and I will die. I mean, so it's not a threat because I'm living a terrific life, but I have my character defects, you know, sloth, fear, financial insecurity, fear, and sloth, coupled with procrastination. And if I don't show up and do the things that my sponsor and the people before me told me to do, I've proven to myself that it's weeks before I talk myself into drinking again. And I never want to go back there. And so I don't do it out of fear because I do it to continue to have a happy, joyous, and free life. It's not out of fear that I'm going to drink. It's to continue happy, joyous, and free and to be able to show up for people. So I think that's the answer.
Right on. I like that.
Good. I lost track right in the end there. What I was saying.
You're just kind of on autopilot and gliding through.
I kind of lost it. At the
That's
end. So I'm
fine.
glad
I
it
think
still
it's the
worked out.
correct answer, though.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
came
you
to
got
that.
it right.
No, that's
Yeah.
I mean that sincerely though.
Let's go to the survey.
I mean it sincerely.
Andy, what motivates you the most?
Yeah, I think happy, joyous, and free. I think with recovery, when I was drinking, what motivated me was getting drunk as I wanted to the next time. And then you think, okay, now I'm never going to drink again. And when I first got sober, I was sad about missing out on that stuff. And then as I have gone through the last year, I've realized that I can be happy and joyous and free. But so, yeah, that's just the easy answer. Is it selfish? What motivates me to get up and go to work because I know I need to get money. I need money. Also have a wife of a family. Oh, this is getting dark. No. Yeah, happy, joyous, and free. It's good.
Way to bring it back there, Andy.
Hold on. Maybe there's other options.
Damn bills and
Wait, one of these buttons, Mike. Which button should we push?
Which one do you want?
I don't even know.
Al, what motivates you the most?
Well, I think it's my own mortality, knowing that I only have so much time here, and I don't control that. There's so much that's out of our control, illness, freak accidents, all that kind of stuff. But what's within our control is what we do today.
So the what you can do today, like that just brings me to like the 10th step. Have I added to the stream of life, or have I taken from it? That's right where my brain went with that.
Yep.
I think that's one of those contributing factors for me. Like that I think about that more often than I care to admit. And then the other one is actually more recent, and my sponsor put this in my head. And to see the world and those about you as a gardener. And if I saw a plant that was struggling and maybe had some dead leaves and wasn't growing as strong as the other plants, would I start yelling at it and telling it that it's stupid and that it sucks?
I might need a new sponsor, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Or would I go to that plant and give it a little bit of nutrients in the dirt, add some water, trim away the dead stuff, and try to breathe some new life into it?
Be helpful.
Be helpful. So especially the ones that are struggling.
Anybody ever cut down a tree?
A tree or three.
Yeah. How many have you planted?
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh.
Wow. It's deep. That's page
I did not
166.
think that was ever gonna just
That's,
slap me.
that's page 166.
That was
In case anybody's trying to find that. in the
Man,
book.
that's a really good one.
Yeah.
I've never thought anywhere near that.
I don't know. I work at a middle school, so I feel like I plant a lot of trees and no, telling people not to be such a punk.
Yell at a lot of
You're not
weeds.
as good as you think you are. It's my main.
He's yelling at the plant not growing right.
Yeah.
I'll pick up on that tree analogy though. Planting a tree, that sort of thing. I got a little depressed at one point early in my recovery because I was seeing so many people relapse, and my sponsor said two things to me which I'll never forget. One was, as you know, I was mentioning I was in a sober house and there was a lot of people relapsing around me, and I said, you know, it's depressing, it's every day, and you know, because I was, and he said, is anybody sober with their family, reunited with their family? And I said yes, and he said, that's focus on that. That's what we're here for, is to, you know, be positive about that. And the other thing is, you know, when you're sponsoring people and they fade away, and you know, they may be relapse or they just fade away. The concept of we get to we plant the seed, but we don't always get to experience the shade. That's taken me, that's flipped me from, you know, worry and remorse and fear to gratitude pretty quick. That one, knowing that hopefully someday, you know, that person will come back around and, you know, experience, you know, the gifts of this program.
And trees.
And trees. And shade.
Man, there's a couple on here that I'm like, they're fun ones. Oh, here, I'm gonna hand them to Andy. Here, Andy.
What's
These are-
up? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one right here.
All right. Looking at the cards.
Like, seem like
I have a question. What's your experience with the meeting on Friday night? That will
my experience. It's a lot of, like, every time that I come in here, they start off, is anybody new to Will Work? right? And you see and people will stand up, and immediately the whole place, because like you guys said, there's like over 100 people.
Yeah.
It just starts erupting and cheering. And every Friday there's new people. And they hand out little toy soldiers, and they're like, we gotta remember we're a soldier in recovery, and it's a great little message, like, because we fight every day for this. I was like, okay, that's cool, okay, but and there's a lot of people that come in and they're testing the waters, or they're very new to sobriety or trying to be recovery. So my experience with these Friday night meetings is a lot of people being introduced, and a lot of people being introduced in a very positive manner, with a lot of cheer and happiness and welcoming and just that warm spirit. Now, on the flip side, the amount of new people that come in to the amount of people that are able to sponsor is greatly outnumbered. So there is a big need for people that are willing to sponsor to be from Friday night. There are people who are fun.
I see.
So that's my my experience here is that it is a wonderful introduction. It's a really good place to test it out, get comfortable being uncomfortable, because it's a big room, right? There's a lot of people. The cheering and the shouting, like that can be uncomforting to some. It's a good place to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and to set yourself up for the next stone to step on.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was talking to somebody earlier, and I said that when I was in treatment and was required to go to AA, I didn't feel necessarily welcomed at a few of the places that I went. And part of that could have been, on me and what sort of, condition I was in, or how maybe committed I was to long-term sobriety. But having a comfortable place where people welcome you and will come up and introduce themselves and make you feel comfortable and part of, invite you to do things and make conversation, offer you coffee and a chair. That made all the difference for me when I finally found a place where I was comfortable. And when I walked in, I've never been here before, and we walked in with 10 minutes left in the meeting, and that's exactly what I saw. I saw, a welcoming place. So it's positive.
Vibrant. That's what I saw.
Very vibrant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember when I first came on the show, and they asked me, like, what was your first reaction, or what was your first thoughts on Will Work? And I was like, it's kind of like, the drug dealer's garage. The way that they have all the walls decorated and the neon lights and all the other stuff. But then I stopped and I was like, but it's not, right? Like, it's not the room, that the place isn't filled with smoke or shadiness. I'm like, it's got like that little level of like, oh, it's just a little bit familiar, but now it's brand new. It's different in something kind of familiar.
I would almost say it's eclectic,
Yeah.
That's a word I might use.
Yeah, someone said they love how inviting Will Work for Recovery is. And that's, like you said, it's inviting.
My first thought was if Jimmy Buffett had a AA place.
That's a good way to put it. If Jimmy Buffett retired from Margaritaville, this is what it would look like.
My first thought was that this is the most sober people in one room that I've ever been in a room with this many sober people anywhere in my life, probably.
Interesting.
And yeah, so that was neat. There was a lot of people, huge energy, a lot of energy, which was awesome. Really, people encouraging everyone. You just get that feeling like you're being encouraged to what we kind of talk about sometimes, like raise your voice. At the end, we wrote, which was cool.
In the room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was a more traditional closing. But I wonder, I'm sitting here wondering about the row your boat. Is that to just get people engaged? And the gentleman said something about, everybody's voice counts. Let's go, right? And it was a call to action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody knows row, row, row your boat.
And it is kind of like a serenity prayer. Row, row, row your boat. It's just, we're just going. You keep moving merrily, merrily. Life's but a dream, happy, joyous, and free.
Yeah, gently down the stream,
You know,
not vigorously.
it's a bit of a prayer. Yeah. Yeah, merrily. But I was thinking, like, just now, I was thinking about the row, row, row your boat. There's some book where they talk about row, row, row your boat.
Could you translate that song into plain and simple language?
Yeah. I was thinking that, like, at a bar, when Sweet Caroline comes on, everyone sings to parts of that. It's like a communal thing that everyone does. Well, here we did row, row, row your boat, and it was kind of like, yeah, all right, everyone in the bar knows the words to this song. We'll all sing along. Everyone in the recovery room.
I can close this room.
Yeah. And just make sure the lights are off and stuff out there. Good? All right. Have a good night, boys.
Have a good night. Well, you guys each get a minute to plug whatever you want. Anything you want. Anything you want to plug, any shout outs, any messages you want to give to those out there.
Okay. I was just thinking about something, actually, that will transition nicely into that. So one of the things about this program that's been a miracle to me is the fact that the desire to drink has been completely lifted from me for quite some time. It's not guaranteed forever, but for quite some time, because I'm working this program and I'm taking actions every day to strengthen my spiritual connection. And what that allows is there is no place on earth that I can't go. And I truly believe that. I don't put myself into shady situations just because. But as an example, I go to a lot. I used to go to a lot of concerts. I go to a lot of concerts now. I enjoy concerts sober. I go to concerts where there's sober people, and I'll just say it. The Grateful Dead started a Wharf Rats sobriety group, and some of the other jam bands that are going out now, Fish and et cetera, all have them now. And there's a group of people that sit out in the lobby at a table, marked with big yellow sign, big yellow balloons, candy, and we go out there and have a meeting at Set Break. It's just an example of I can go out with my family to a restaurant where they're drinking. I've been sober a while, so I don't recommend that to everyone. But when you work this program, it allows you freedom. And you don't have to be limited because you've got a disease. As long as you're treating it, there's no place on earth I can't go. And I enjoy doing a lot of things that I used to do drinking, and I think sometimes that's frowned upon, and I understand that. But if you're fully working a program, whatever works for you, I think that's my message. Is that I'm having a blast. We're not a glum lot. I'll leave it at that.
Awesome. Andy, anything you want to plug? Message?
Andy's having a garage sale next Tuesday.
No. I'm good. I don't need to plug anything. That's fine.
Al, anything to plug? Any message?
I think I'm going to let Jeff have the last word there. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. I got one little itty bitty plug. There is Valentine's Bingo at the Robbinsdale Alano at 6 p.m. on Saturday, February 10th. If you want to come out and you want to see other folks get upset at the word bingo,
you should come check this out. There's going to be a really lousy bingo caller going on, and we go from 6 to 9. There will also be a meeting going on upstairs at 7 to 8, so you can come do bingo meeting bingo or just all bingo, whatever have you. That's at the Robbinsdale Alano at 6 o'clock Saturday, February 10th. If no one else has told you tonight that they love you, I love you. I appreciate everyone that's listened tonight. Go out there and work for your recovery. If you're struggling, please reach out. On the bottom of the screen, you'll see the scroller. There's Intergroup. Get a hold of somebody and reach out to those that you love and let them know that you love them as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.